Hey everybody, it's Trigger Bar Philosopher. Welcome back out to the channel. Today we got a great episode in our continuing series on 10mm pistol and rifle. We're going to be taking a look at the Sig V-Crown. Should be a good time. Let's get to shooting. Well, we've been running a series now for a little bit where I'm looking at the possibility of combining a pistol and a rifle that share the same ammunition, share the same magazine. So today we're looking at the Smith & Wesson 10mm carry comp version. It's a 4-inch model, but it's got a comp or a port cut into the barrel. Now, it really is more like a comp because the end of the barrel really has no rifling and is recessed just a little bit so that it isn't interfering as it's exiting the gun. It isn't touching the port or the comp, and it just helps reduce the recoil a little bit. I've got videos comparing it to another 4-inch model and does pretty good. And really what we're looking at today, though, is comparing what if we have this as a combination. Does the ammunition that we're going to select work well out of the pistol that's 4-inch and out of the rifle that's 16 inches? And that's what we've been doing a whole series and testing on. And we want to make sure that the works well enough out of the pistol, this very short pistol. We get expansion, we get the right properties out of it. And then out of the rifle, we should get some velocity improvements and accelerations that get that speed up quite a bit higher than what we're seeing out of that pistol. Now, today we're going to be testing the Sig Elite Defense. It's their 200 grain jacketed hollow point. And sometimes when you shoot 200 grain bullets out of the pistol and the rifle, you see there's not a whole lot of difference between the two, because usually the lighter the projectile, the more acceleration that happens in the longer barrel. And so you end up with a higher velocity coming out of it. And you see a spike up in the energy foot-pounds. We may not see that today with this 200 grain projectile. I'm expecting a good performance today by Sig. What we have is we have our target, which is a ballistic target set up downrange. We've got a setup very similar to Gun Sam, where we do 2 layers of t-shirt, 2 layers of denim, followed by 2 inches of clear ballistic gel. Gun Sam does 4 inches. I do 2 inches. Then medium density fiberboard, a 1/4 inch of that, followed by a whole bunch more ballistic gelatin behind that. And our purpose here is going to look at, do we get expansion going from the pistol and the rifle? How do they both perform in this test? And is this the type of round that we want to choose for our self-defense? And I like to fantasize perhaps that this is a get-home scenario where you've got your concealed carry gun on you that's pretty well concealed under a shirt or something like that. And then you've got your rifle that you can pull out of a backpack, because again, cool kind of thing about this thing is that, yeah, it's a folder, right? The Smith & Wesson FPC can get down pretty small. Now, on this Smith & Wesson FPC, I should note that I do have M-Carbo pick rail installed at the back, and then also the takedown lever, or I should say the release lever, both the bolt release and when it locks in here, barrel release, are from M-Carbo. Again, I have no affiliation with them, but I think there's some nice improvements to them. Yeah, well, that's enough yapping. Let's get to shooting. Okay, well, we have the 200 grain Sig V-Crown. We have our Smith & Wesson M&P 2.0 carry comp. Let me start the slow motion camera and get a shot on target. All right, we got 1119, not bad. Go down, check it out. Okay, well, let's take a look and see what happened. We came in here into this gel block over here on the side, through the layers of t-shirt, layers of gelatin, and then we look at our medium density fiberboard. In terms of the size holes that's 10mm is put into medium density fiberboard, that's one of the smallest. And we look at this wound track that comes in here, you might think, gosh, that's pretty good, Trigger Bar. Well, we got 0 expansion. You see a lot of disturbance in the gel out at this end of the gel block, and that is a big old tumbling path eventually down at this end, and may have at this end started to tumble. I think it did. it tumbled a few times as we went in through here, and then went all the way out to the other end of this gel block. We got about 27 inches of penetration. Now, that is what I would call over penetration, and that's what can happen sometimes when we don't get expansion, especially from these higher powered rounds like 10 millimeter. It really is a danger that if your jacketed hollow point doesn't expand, it'll zip right through whoever your intended target is, and hopefully there's no one behind it. But whether that be hunting or whether it be self-defense, one of the reasons you like jacketed hollow points is they stop in the target that you're looking at, but this is not going to do that. So what we're seeing with this carry comp version, this 4-inch version, is we're not getting enough velocity to get that Sig V-Crown to expand. Curious to me is take a look at this bullet. I see no cuts on the outside of that bullet. There's some little bit of cuts on the top and on the inside. I wonder if that's a manufacturing defect. I don't know. Let me pull one more round, just look at it. No, I guess that's kind of what they look like. This is actually even from another box of ammunition. It looks the same. That's just the way they are designed. Looks like the cuts to help it start to expand are done on the inside, not on the outside. But yeah, that's too bad. I've seen that before where we're just not getting enough velocity probably out of these shorter models. Let's now shoot the rifle. My guess is we'll get the velocity that we need out of that. Okay, now we have the 16-inch Smith & Wesson FPC, or folding pistol carbine. We'll see how it does into that same gel block. .1272, so yeah, pickup of 150 feet per second, 250 feet per second. That's good. Let's go down and see what it did. Well, dang, I am not very impressed at all whatsoever. It didn't get any expansion out of any of this. It zipped all the way through to the end of the gel block and out the other end. So our projectile is gone. We have a little bit of disruption in the gel. That's with this shot here, if you can see it. But it then just continued on, zipped all the way in through the next gel block and then out. So it went through 32 inches plus 2 inches, so it went through 34 inches of clear ballistic gel. That's not a great sign. Kind of disappointed with that result. And just because I knew the SIG fanboys out here would have a little hissy fit, I went and shot it with my BB gun going 590 feet per second, and we get out to a little bit over 3.5 inches of penetration. When you count the bounce back, if you don't count the bounce back, it gets to about 3.25. That's exactly what your organic gelatin should be calibrated to. So this gel block is calibrated appropriately. It's spot on. Take that for what you need. All right, well, next up, we're going to test some velocities out of our pistol and out of our rifle as we continue testing this ammunition. Must admit, I'm still a little disappointed that we didn't get any expansion. Probably must have gotten caught up in the t-shirt and that, but I would have expected this. Now, if I were choosing an ammunition, which I am, I would probably go with the 180 grain, but I don't know why I picked up the 200 grain. Is probably just that was what was available to me. But yeah, we're just not getting the performance that I would have expected out of these Sig V-Crowns. I know V-Crowns are very good bullets. It's just not performing. All right, we got 5 shots out of the pistol. Let's see how this does. And looks like I probably didn't capture it. We only captured 4 shots. So for our session summary, we had a min of 1068, an average of 1091, and a max of 1118. That max is close to what we got with one of our first shots. So that's kind of disappointing. Extreme spread of 50, standard deviation of 21, average kinetic energy of 529. What's kind of really surprising to me is that I've tested Sig 180 grain FMJ that gives me 650 energy foot-pounds. It's great practice ammunition. I just don't know why the real stuff, the 200 grains, is not this good. Let's see what we get with the rifle though. And all right, we got our rifle here. Let's see what we get with it. Okay, for our min, we got 1238. For our average, we got 1262 feet per second. A max of 1288 feet per second. Extreme spread again to 50. Standard deviation is 16.9. Average kinetic energy of 707. It's just not great. I mean, I don't know what's going on with Sig. Usually their 10 millimeters is great, but this is not what I expected. All right, now let's go down, see how well it shoots into a paper target. Okay, we are back at 10 yards. We're going to shoot 5 shots into the target, see how well it shoots, see how this ammunition prints on the paper relative to the other rounds that we're testing, see if there's anything sort of anomalies that comes up or get more rounds downrange, see how reliable it is, see if maybe there's keyholing or other things that we might learn when we shoot at a target from 10 yards into some paper. All right, well, here we go. All right, it's not a great group. I'm not shooting this well today. All right, this is our group, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, I mean, it's in your palm if I use my thumb as part of it. All right, but none of these rounds are going sideways. It's fine. This is all me, and that's just fine at 10 yards. Okay, we're back at 10 yards again, with this time with the rifle. See how we do. All right, a little bit of an improvement, but I'm still shaky today. All right, these are our 5 shots down here again. Yes, improvement with a rifle. That's what you would expect. That's why you would carry a rifle. And again, we're seeing that everything's cycled great. Both of these guns are handling these rounds well. They're not keyholing. They're not coming out in weird shapes or anything like that. Okay, well, it's about a month later. I don't know what happened. I'm back here editing this video, getting it ready to go up, and I realize I don't have a conclusion, so we'll talk about it now. As I've been editing the video, I'm looking at it and thinking, I do not know still what happened, why those rounds didn't open up, especially out of the carbine. It's plenty of velocity that it should be opening up. So I don't know what's going on. I don't know if it was bad design. I don't know if they are just way underpowered by Sig. I don't know. Could very well be organic gel versus clear ballistics gel. I tend to not believe that when we're getting 700 energy foot-pounds out of the rifle round, that's still not enough to get it to expand. I think there's something going on with these rounds. I think there's maybe some defects or something in them that they're not expanding, because Sig V-Crowns typically expand very well. Even in 380 ACP, they expand very well. But sometimes, I guess, we only tested in with the clothing, and I guess with the clothing, it's not getting enough velocity to cause them to expand, and the clothing is plugging them up, is probably my guess, because we got no expansion in the first inch or so, even before we hit the medium density fiberboard. All right, well, for me, it's probably just a no-go. I just don't think it's going to be the round that I want. I have much better tested rounds like the Buffalo Bore, the Grizzly ammunition. Those are much better rounds for this combination. And even the Extreme Defenders from Lehigh and loaded by Underwood, I think are a better combo round for this setup than these are. But let me know what you guys think in the test setup that we have today about the Sig 200 grain V-Crown bullets. I hope everyone has a great week, and let's get to shooting.
From pistols to rifles, we'll take on the best. Reviewing each weapon, put them to the test. With revolvers and shotguns, we'll break it all down. The Second Amendment protects from the crown. Living for freedom, defending our rights. We Conceal, carry wisdom, good guy with